If you're going to be watching E3 coverage today, I just want to take about 5 minutes to give you some insight that you're not going to get anywhere else on what's actually going on from a business standpoint at E3, so hopefully you can be a more informed, mindful viewer of this gaming industry spectacle. So real quick, let's go over 3 points that you want to keep in mind while watching E3. Hello and welcome to the Exalted March. Today, I'm going to be giving you a quick breakdown, as I said, of some of the less often discussed subtext for E3. So number 1, everything you see is a commercial. Everything. It's all advertising. You might think that this is obvious, but many people make this mistake year after year despite telling themselves not to make this mistake again. You go in, you're telling yourself to be objective, and then once one cool moment happens in the gameplay demo, you lose your shit and you buy a one-way ticket onto the hype train. We've all been there. Just keep this in mind. This is not an authentic showcase of video games. It's a sales pitch. If you're like me and you're a fan of GDC and the lectures that happen every year at GDC where game developers talk about design strategy and the struggles of development, then you know what a real in-depth look at a game looks like. That's a comprehensive look at a game. What we see at E3 is not. The intention is to mask flaws, which all games have, and to showcase as many strong points as possible back to back to back, which is not how the game will be. Remember that when you play a game, it's some good, some bad mixed all together. At E3, it's no bad whatsoever, and even if all of the good stuff they show at E3 makes it into the final game, which almost never happens, in the final game it's going to be set-piece moment followed by so-so side quest, followed by lame fetch quest, followed by filler grind quest, and then another cool moment. That's how it always happens, otherwise most games would be about 3 hours long. Okay, so number 1, everything you see is an advertisement. And by the way, I'm not disparaging ads in marketing. I like capitalism, despite its flaws. I don't begrudge companies the right to make money. They're offering, you're deciding. You don't have to go for it. There's nothing wrong with only showcasing your product's strong suits, but presumably informed consumers don't take that at face value. So be an informed consumer. They're allowed to promise the world, you're allowed to be skeptical. Number 2, everything is about business strategy, not game strategy. All of these games are products. They might be art sometimes too, but if you want to have any worthwhile insight into what will happen in any sense with any of these games between now and release date, think business. No developer ever gets to make decisions purely based on what makes the best game. Publishers in particular will stipulate that which is best for their business strategy. So if you're wondering anything about all of the games that we see this week, like what will this feature look like in the final game, or I wonder if this release date will change, or I wonder how much of this game will be multiplayer versus single player focus, ask yourself, if you were a business, how would you try to make the most money long term? I'm not trying to suck all the fun out of this, but if you're sick and tired of feeling sideswiped by decisions that seem to make no sense to you as a gamer, try thinking of it as a business person. I'm not saying you have to buy into it or like it or approve of it, but you'll be less surprised and sideswiped if you tap into this way of thinking, a business way of thinking. Also, again, I'm not railing against businesses. This is the gaming industry, not the gaming game. The industry part has to work in order for there to keep on being games. Number 3, watch the developer interviews after the onstage showcases, but keep in mind they are usually 90% worthless. The onstage stuff is super rehearsed and done word for word according to what PR and marketing wrote up. That's a given, everyone knows that. But the interviews that the developers give afterwards with Jeff Keighley or GameSpot or IGN or whoever, those are also heavily manufactured. They have set talking points they're supposed to repeat and really only go in and give maybe 1 or 2 new details. They plan that in advance also. They say we're going to announce 5 out of 6 things on stage and 1 thing afterwards with Jeff Keighley. That's pre-planned, but occasionally, you'll get a slip-up. Those are glorious. All right, every now and then, a developer will just allude to or outright say something that they weren't supposed to. That's gold. Sometimes you learn way more from the interviews, particularly when there's a slip-up, even though, for the most part, it's just devs repeating talking points. Okay, so those are my tips to get a better insight into E3. Again, I'm trying to help you get a better insight into this stuff. I know some of it sounds harsh or cynical, I know. Okay, I'm not trying to take all the joy out of it, but, and this is really important, year after year after year, I hear people, the same people often, complaining about how they feel duped and how they feel tricked and suckered after E3 promises all of these things, and then it doesn't come out that way. So, I don't want you to keep getting duped. A little bit of cynicism, or maybe a lot of cynicism depending on how you're feeling, but a little bit of cynicism goes a long way. I'm not saying don't be excited at all. If I see something that I really like, you can bet I'll be at least momentarily hyped, even if I know it is an ad and even if I know it is marketing. We're still presumably seeing some gameplay, even if it is a demo, even if it is a vertical slice. It's in-game, so we can be at least semi-excited for that. Just remember to keep an even-headed approach. The more level-headed we are as consumers, the more it forces companies to offer real, substantial info rather than just marketing fluff. Alright, so that's it for me. I hope everyone has a good E3. Enjoy the week. Stay smart, stay grounded. Masaranas, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and until next time.